Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So it is Wednesday the 28th. It's currently 7:56 a.m. So this video probably won't be uploaded until like Thursday or Friday, something like that. So we're still on the prologue. We're on part two though of it. So I'll show you. We're on part two of it. Let's get started. Also, I do have my washer running because I'm doing laundry. So if you hear the noise in the back, that's my washer. Chapter 2. Did you hear that, Ernie? Robinson called. I'd have told him he sounded gab-smacked, but he'd never let me forget that particular vocabulary word either. Of course, Ernie hadn't heard anything, not even Robinson's question. So Robinson pushed away the doughnut and stared at me like he'd never seen me before. It's not often I can surprise him, so I was enjoying this. Did you ever read the copy of On the Road I gave you? I demanded. Now Robinson looked sheepish. I started it. I rolled my eyes. I'm forever giving Robinson books, and he's forever giving me music, but since he's distractible, and my iPod is dead, that's usually about as far as it gets. Well, Sal, who's really just Jack, the author, and his friends go all over the country, and they meet crazy people, and dance in dive bars, and climb mountains, and beat on horses, and bet on horse races. We're going to do that, Robinson. We're leaving this dump behind and taking an epic road trip. Origin to New York City, with stops along the way, of course. Robinson was blinking at me. Who are you? The blinks were asking. I sat up straighter on my stool. First, we're going to see the redwoods because those things are totally mystical. Then we'll hit San Francisco and Los Angeles, east to the giant sand dunes in Colorado, the Detroit Motor City, Robinson, which is so right up your alley. Then, because you're such a speed addict, we'll ride the force at Cedar Point. It goes like 120 miles an hour. We'll go to Coney Island. We'll see the Temple of Edinburgh at the Museum of Art. We'll do anything and everything we want. I know it sounded nuts, so I spread out the crumpled map to show him how I'd figured it all out. Here's our route, I said. The purple line is us. Us? He repeated. Clearly, it was taking him a while to wrap his head around my perception. Us? You have to come, I said. I can't do it without you. This was true, in more ways than I could admit to him, or even to myself. Robinson was suddenly starting laughing, and it went on so long, and I heard I was afraid. Robinson suddenly started laughing, and it went on so long and hard, I was afraid it was his way of saying, no one way in hell, you totally insane person who looks like Axie, but is clearly some sort of maniac. If you don't come, who's going to remind me to have a donut with my coffee? I went on, not ready for him to get a skeptical, sarcastic word in edgewise. You know, I have a terrible sense of direction. What if I get lost in LA and the scientists find me and suddenly I believe in aliens? What if I get drunk in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and marry a stranger? Who's going to poke me in the ribs when I start quoting Shakespeare? Who is going to protect me from all of that? You can't let the 16-year-old girl go across the country by herself. That would be like normally irresponsible. Robinson held up a hand, still chuckling. And I may be a scalawag, but I'm not morally irresponsible. Finally, the guy says something. Does that mean you're coming? I asked, holding my breath. Robinson gazed up at the ceiling. He was touring me, and he knew it. He reached for the plate and took a thoughtful bite of cider. Well, he said. Well, what? I was knocking the counter again, hard. He ran his hand through his hair, which is dark and always a little bit shaggy, even if he's just gotten it cut. Then he turned and looked at me with his slay eyes. Well, he said, very calmly, hell yes.